Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. If you check your emails, you'll see I sent, I meant to only send it to paid subscribers, but it looks like I might have sent it to everybody. So apologies if you get it 2 or 3 times. Tricky thing about the mailing list is that if you have one email address that you use to create your account and then another one that you use for like PayPal to pay for your account, then we might have 2 or 3 separate addresses for you in system. So if ever you receive 2 or 3 emails, I do apologize. It is one of the hardest things in the world to have to wrangle as a small business owner. But welcome. It's my favorite time of the week. Hopefully it's yours too. And I just didn't even bother changing clothes because you can't smell me. And that is going to be my mantra going through the week. You can't smell me. It's fine. It's fine. Thank God you can't, because I stink, y'all. As I pull out, so I'm pulling up this beautiful poem that if you do go into your email box, you might have received it hopefully at least once, possibly up to 6 times from me. But it really does sort of set the tone that I want to have going for the rest of the month. Affirmation for days of self-loathing. On the days you find the mirror hard to look at, remember there is a myth which says the face that you have in this life is the face of the person you loved most in your last. I know it's just a myth, but think of how much more love you would give yourself if it were true. I love that. And the reason I think that's relevant right now is because this is the time of year that makes me more nervous than any other time of year. And that's spring. Because what's happening right now is people are getting emails inviting them to register for fall races, which I truly do think will happen. I don't think it will be like before. It'll be a couple more years. It'll still be a year of like you're going to have to get a COVID test or some sort of proof positive to satisfy insurance requirements on their end. So please don't yell at the race directors. This is not something that they necessarily actively chose. It was a decision that was pushed down to them. If you don't like the decision, I get that. That's valid. Please don't yell at the race directors. Understand where the decision came from and then go yell at that person. Like yelling at teachers because you don't like masks isn't going to help a whole lot. Those teachers don't make the policies most of the time. So I ask you to extend that same sort of love to the race directors too. So this affirmation for days of self-loathing that might be a little cheesy. The reason it feels relevant is because everybody's getting excited. You're getting the emails. You're seeing that the New York City half happened. You're getting the emails inviting you to get into the lottery for Marine Corps and maybe register for Philadelphia, or, the lottery for New York City, which is, it's easier to get into Harvard, but he wants to go to Harvard for real. And I want to remind you that it is easy to get excited about a thing. It is hard to get ready for the thing. We are still committing to something in spring. Now, you know me, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm not saying this to sort of discourage you from signing up for a race if that's what you really want to do. What I want you to think about is what you're signing up for and what you're asking yourself to do, because just because you've put your name in the lottery and put $250 or $300 on the line does not mean that it's going to be easy to get out of bed tomorrow morning and go running before the sun has come up with the time change and all the meetings starting a whole lot earlier. And, is it your period? Because those can wipe you out completely. I know that mine, the older I get, the more I'm like, whoa, what is happening? All of a sudden, this body of mine that I've had perfect control over, I have less control over. And spring is when I have the least control over it because of pollen, ground layer ozone, which you're going to be breathing in, and exposure. Again, check your email. I wrote 3 blog posts about the trifecta that impacts runners in springtime. And I want you to know, no, you have not lost tons and tons of fitness. No, I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. No, this is not the time to sort of shame yourself back into shape. That doesn't work. It's just abuse. Like, it's just abuse. Like, please don't be mean to you. Hear my voice in your head countering out the voice that's saying all the negative things to you, because you're wrong and I'm not. You're amazing. You are amazing. Every decision you've made this winter is absolutely the right one. Not going out there and wrangling the ice was the right choice. Staying inside on the Peloton was the right choice. Not doing anything at all because you're burnt out, didn't have the energy, right choice. All of these are the right choices. Now, once you put a date on the calendar and assign some sort of value, like I'm going to run this race and need to have finished time at XYZ, then you are committing to a process that's very, very, very inflexible. And I don't want anyone committing to that process, that inflexible process, because it's only really fun if you have room for it in your life and you're super fit. And by super fit, I mean like you are in better shape than I am right now, because let me tell you how I ground out those 14-minute miles the other day. It felt great to be able to do it. It felt great to be able to run without really needing to stop and walk a whole lot. But it did not feel, so I have an entry to the New York Marathon this year. I don't know that I'm going to run it. I'm probably not, honestly. It felt really good to have that run that I did the other day. It did not give me confidence that racing this fall is anything that I need to do personally, considering what's going on with my body and my health. Y'all know me again. I have no qualms whatsoever about deferring for a year. It's an expensive proposition, but it's one that luckily we can afford. And it's an option, and I'm happy to hold on to that option, because who knows, I might be singing a different tune come June. Hopefully one that rhymes just as well as that. But either way, I don't have to make a choice right now. I have the option. But if I'm needing to feel good about having put that money down, and I look to my runs in order to feel good about signing up for that race, that is not going to happen. So demanding that happen in that way it's a trap. It's a mental trap. So TLDR, I want you to be excited about things because they work and because they feel good. And nothing is going to feel good in the spring. Pollen, you're inhaling it. If you're having to wash it off your car, if it's blocking your window, you can't read a license plate, then I promise you are inhaling that stuff too, even when you're inside. And I'm not trying to be all apocalyptic. It's a thing. So your body has got to react to everything in your lungs. That is real. That is not weakness. And if that's translating into slower running times, if that's translating into less power generated each time your foot hits the ground, none of that says anything negative about you. That's your body functioning exactly the way it was designed to. And performance, there might be a time for it later, but it is never in springtime. Raise your hand if I've tried to talk you out of a spring race. There's a reason. That reason has nothing to do with you and everything to do with spring. If you need reminders of that, you've got 3 beautiful blog posts waiting for you, linked up in your inbox. Maybe once, maybe 6 times, who knows? Apologies if you get it more than once, but it's there. And please remember that the performance says nothing about you. How you handle your reactions to every run that you have and the decisions that you make, that is what defines you. And you're fucking fantastic. Believe me when I say that. I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. It's really annoying. You're amazing. So there we go. In those moments when you wake up and you feel bad, you've got that poem now waiting in your inbox too. The affirmation on for days of self-loathing, because you're going to have them, and you're going to have them a lot in the spring. You might have moments where you feel amazing, but it is highly unlikely that just because it's getting a little bit warmer, you're also going to be wearing less clothing, more skin, getting sunlight, and that takes a lot out of you. So as I learned the other day, I came in, had a shower. It's like, I feel great. I was asleep within an hour. I took a 2-hour nap today. And I swear it's all coming out of that run yesterday. So, and which brings me to another point. Your easy effort pace is a total vanity metric. It doesn't say anything about your fitness. So if you see my runs up on Strava, I put it in my Instagram story. It was a great run. It felt really good. It took something like 90 minutes, and I got like 6.68 miles out of it or something. And they were 14-minute miles. But the 14-minute miles, this isn't math class, you guys. We're not doing fractions here. It's the walking does not cancel out the running. The faster bits don't cancel out the slower bits. It might bring up the average. It might waste more energy. I don't want you to treat your runs like a math class. I want you to go out there and treat it like PE. Hold back on your effort, because if you're going harder for the sake of like getting better or going faster or getting smaller or losing weight, all of that's going to work against you. I just want you to enjoy the movement as much as I enjoyed that. And finishing it and seeing the average time of 14 minutes per mile did not ruin that run for me. It still felt like a great run, but also I'm not thinking about my fall race. Because if I was thinking about the fall race, I'd be looking at that 14-minute mile saying, do I really want to do this? And it's too soon to do that. Okay. Do you see how that logic is coming together? Because that's the same logic I want you to use, evaluating each of your workouts as we go throughout the year. Yay. So, and where is it? I'm pulling this up. Here it is. By the way, can I tell you how thrilled I am that y'all are out of hibernation and are asking questions again? It makes me so happy. Weekly wins. Viola Askey is celebrating her run-anniversary with me. I love you, Miss Viola. Thank you for being here, and thank you for staying with me through every season of these past few years. Karina Terry enjoyed a couples massage after her long run this weekend. Go you! She and her husband have decided to treat themselves once a month, and she says it helps her recover and feel good the next day. I bet it does, man. I have really started getting aggressive with my my Graston on my legs because I don't have a lot of strength. What's been going on, y'all know, I'm not going to whine about it anymore here, but I don't have the strength that I usually do. And it's really hard for me to go through even my own foam rolling routine because I don't have the strength to pull myself through it or to hold myself in some of the positions. So I've gotten much more creative with oil and my Graston scraping tools on my bed. And I got to say, it feels so good. I woke up, I went to bed yesterday with really sore muscles and my ankles were like, I hate you. And I woke up this morning feeling great. So those massages really do make a big difference, and if you're able to get it as a couple and have someone do it to you instead of you laying on the bed doing it to yourself, that much better. Erin White has been getting some consistent running in and is excited to start her run for her 15K race in May. Yay, Erin, I'm excited for you. Hallie Richwine, who is new, has her first long run in the rebuild program. She's excited to get back in the running game and to stay injury-free. We're excited to welcome home. I'm so excited to have you here. I love the rebuild program. It is one of all of you are my pride and joy, but that program in particular, having a good step-by-step method of learning to run by feel, learning where your body is at each point in time, and getting ready to carry your fitness forward rather than trying to force your body forward into fitness. That's really what this is all about. You're going to get there. You'll get there a whole lot faster if you aren't injured. So yay! I can't wait to see where this journey takes you. We are thinking of Karen Schluter this week. Karen is one of our most dedicated runners, and she's struggling with her back again. Bless your heart. I'm wishing you answers and a speedy recovery and reminding you that I'm in office hours if you want to talk. Your office hours are free. You paid for them with your subscription. And you know what? If you're watching this and you don't have the ability to subscribe, I will still talk to you, man. I've got the time. Reach out. Click the link. I'm here for you. All right, here are the questions. I don't get any notifications when the Ask the Coach sessions are about to begin. I miss them every week and I have to watch them recorded. What's the best way to get notifications to see these live? Okay, there are a couple of things. I have not been doing, because I'm still involved in the, so that hasn't gone away yet. So I'm not supposed to be doing, I did this one live on YouTube because you do get notifications on YouTube when I go live there if you follow the page. Theoretically, you should, and unfortunately you have to use Facebook for this. You can also get them within Facebook because I go live in the groups. Those right now, those are the only ways to interact with me live outside of office hours. You can click that link and be live with me throughout the week whenever you want. But catching this live on Sunday night, right now, that's the only way to do it. I cannot yet go live in the app. That is a feature that they are working on, but we're not there yet. If you have not downloaded the app, though, I highly recommend it. It's terrific. I will go and post the link to this after Ask Away is done. And I have some office hour slots that are open tonight. So you guys, if you just want to chat, go ahead and hop in there. So I'm sorry, I know there's no easy way to do it. That's the easiest way to do it. But also you need to go to the Fitness Protection Facebook page and click where you see the follow button. If you click on it or next to it, you can say see first. And you can also get the notifications when we go live, etc. from there. They're all the following options. But none of that's going to make any difference if you have notifications for the Facebook app, the YouTube app, the Fitness Protection app turned off on your phone. So before you do anything else, please go make sure those are turned on and that you open the app from time to time. Otherwise, your phone will decide that you don't care and stop sending you those notifications. So that's there's no single easy way to do it yet, but there will be. So hang tight, hang in a little bit longer, and sorry for the inconvenience. What are your thoughts on stretching pre or post run? I always do silly toes before, but I'm never quite sure what to do after my cool down. I tend to do more stretching after longer distances in addition to foam rolling. So one of the things I learned a long time ago, because I used to coach runners in person at a track, and our club was anywhere in a season from like 30 to 150 people. It was a lot of madness and a lot of beautiful madness. But the thing that I learned the hard way was that if anything I tell you to do on the foam roller will not hurt you. It might hurt, but we're not going to do long-term damage. When it comes to stretching, the way people try to overachieve to get a deeper stretch usually doesn't lead anywhere good. We're talking torn. I've seen people tear meniscuses right in front of me. I have watched them do serious damage to their labrums in their hips. I have watched people do things, and not just like I'm not even talking about in a yoga class. I mean, on a mat at the track, that made me go, what are you doing? I'm hypermobile and I cannot get into that position. So tell you this, I do not actively prescribe a lot of stretching. And that is why I don't want the legal liability if you guys go tear yourselves up. That said, I do stretch myself. I'm just nervous about saying you should stretch, because if I'm going to say you should stretch, then I got to tell you what to stretch and how. And I've yet to come up with a way to convince people to stretch that can't go off the rails. The two stretches that I think are the most important, if you can Google them, one is called the couch stretch by Kelly Starrett of mobilitywod.com. It's the only time you ever hear me recommend CrossFit. That stuff scares me, but MobilityWod is pretty good. I like their couch stretch. It is a very deep quad stretch that, and he gives super in-depth instructions about how to position your body to do the stretch correctly. I also just like a plain old quad stretch, which if you're in the app, you saw, I posted a video a couple of days ago showing how to do Graston on your quads, addressing some knee niggles that a lot of people tend to get this time of year, and just sort of loosening up, like not on the side with the IT band, but just on the inside with that super sore area that tends to run from your knee to about 3/4 of the way up your thigh. So I demonstrated a quad stretch where we try to keep our hips facing forward and our knees in line with each other. So what I see people do is try to pull their knee back, and I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing right here. So those are the two moves I recommend the most. The reason that we like dynamic stretching, which is the silly toes routine, those are dynamic stretches that are designed to lubricate. I hate that word. I know, bear with me. I hate it. Lubricate your bursa, fill your bursa sacs with liquid, with fluid, and lubricate your joints so that once you start moving, once you start the bouncing of jogging, that your body is ready to absorb that shock. That is what the dynamic stretches are for. You don't necessarily need to do a dynamic stretches afterwards, though you can if you feel particularly tired. After that, you're going to get a lot more out of Graston, foam rolling, self-massaging, and a few base stretches, but be really cautious with the stretches. I prefer to foam roll, Graston, then stretch. For that reason, I really want to warm the muscles up and get them nice and soft before I start trying to stretch them out, because any muscle that's a little too tight is going to be pulling a little too hard on a tendon or a ligament. And that's where damage comes from. We don't want it. So I'm not saying stretching causes damage. I'm saying we want to minimize your ability to do damage to yourself if you overachieve in a stretch. I really like stretching my calves. I really like stretching my little glutes on the side, because they're hard to get to. And I like stretching my quad. Finally, I really do enjoy a good deep pigeon stretch when I'm flexible enough to get into the pigeon pose. And frankly, I haven't been in a long time. So that is how I feel about stretching. So in general, in Maintain, our runs are supposed to be 80% easy, 20% hard, right? It's more like 90-10. My question is, which runs do we classify as hard? Anything that is harder than easy effort and or longer than 60 minutes. So if you're in Maintain and you're doing a 60-minute run, easy effort, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the long run on Saturday, That's 4 hard runs. I know it kind of defies logic. But what we're going after is cumulative strain. Anytime you're going harder or going longer, because you can go easy effort all day long. You could go for a hike. I know I went for a walk recently with somebody, and we walked for about 90 minutes, and I was tapped out. I was like, I'm sorry. It was not the effort. It was the duration. Because time on your feet, when I say it's all that matters, it can take a lot out of you still, depending on where you are at any given point in time. So if you don't, to finish the comment here, I don't particularly find the long runs on Saturday hard. In fact, I find them decidedly easy. However, Monday or Wednesday runs, I normally find very hard. I struggle to find a good balance of not working too hard on Monday and Wednesday, so I have enough juice for Saturday. But really, if I think Monday is my hard run, should I be throwing extra into that? I hope that makes sense. No, I don't want you doing extra anything. If you're going to do extra anything, I want you to extend the cool down. I want you to do an extra set of the strength for the month. And that's really where I want that to come from. More reps isn't going to be more better. So what it comes down to, and I know it's a very American thing, like more is better because it isn't less. And that's kind of, unfortunately, when it comes to neuromuscular stimulation, when it comes to your neurological system, there's only so much stimulation it can take before it decides it's overloaded and shuts down. And how that ties into your endocrine system is really interesting too. Almost anything that you would have seen or read about building strength ever at any point comes back to this too. They don't want you in the weight room all day long. They don't want you hitting the same muscle groups every single day in a really hard way. Now, granted, they're doing the opposite of what we do. We want to do light weights for a long time or light resistance for a long time. They do heavy resistance for a super short period of time. So it's the opposite, but theoretically, stay with me here. And the reason is they're going so hard on those muscle groups that doing the same thing every day the way that we do would not work, because it would fry all their nerves and cause their body to produce to flood their bodies with cortisol, and there would be no recovery process for the muscle or for the nerves that deliver the messages to the muscles. So I tell you that to tell you this: if you think Monday and Wednesday are hard, you don't need 2 hard days. You could make Monday your hard day and then take anything that you think is hard out on Wednesday. That's valid. We try to keep, so I say it's 90-10, because when you look at the hard effort itself, if you were to strip it out of the Monday, Wednesday run and put that in aggregate as a comparison to all the time on your feet that we spend in a week, I try to keep that number like bare minimum. I never want that number to get to 20%. It's 80-20 if you're looking at the course of the week, or there are different ways to slice it. But the way that I look at it is exactly that. If it's more than 10%, I'm overworking you. You're not going to get any benefit. You're just going to get really tired. You're going to get really hungry. You're going to get really fatigued. You're probably going to get sunburned, and you're going to wonder, why do I have nothing to show for all of this? It feels terrible. And I want you to know what you have to show for every single thing that you do. You don't specifically need 2 hard workouts a week plus a long run. You don't. You can do a lot with 1 hard workout, and you keep your endurance race readiness together with a long run. Makes sense? You could do no hard workouts. You could do nothing but easy effort runs, a few strides here and there, and all the long runs is written, and be ready for a marathon. It's not about the harder effort workouts. It's not specifically where strength comes from. That's not where prowess comes from, and it's really not where cardiovascular strength comes from. So I do think your question makes sense, and that's how I would approach it. If those runs are hard, we're trying to keep a very few minutes each week. I think the total comes to 20 minutes maybe at 10K pace or faster, right? We don't want more than that, because again, more than that, you're not going to get any benefit from it. You're just going to get tired. And if you're getting tired from on Monday and need a week to recover, then I don't think you need it on Wednesday at all. And you're not going to be behind, and you're not going to be less than. It's just what your body needs right now. And giving your body what it needs rather than beating it up for what it asks for, that's the cycle that we're here to break. So I don't know. I think of all the teachers who are like, it's safe to ask questions. MK, why are you raising your hand again? I was Tracy Flick. I was annoying as hell. I know that. But I always felt safe when people would be like, please ask questions. And then be like, really, MK? It's called gaslighting. And most of us have experienced that at some point or another. And that is because it's such a familiar pattern, we tend to do it to ourselves. And I'm hoping that we can sort of break that pattern here. If Monday and Wednesdays are hard, do Monday. You don't need Wednesday. Hell, cut them both. You don't need them. Go out there, make them easy effort runs, make it fun, get your long run done, do some strength. You're ready to go. Spring. Yay! Also, yes, fuck spring. Yep, fuck spring for sure. I get to run outside, but I live in the Midwest, and some days it's 30 degrees with sleet, and I opt to the treadmill. Yay for good decisions. It's not where it's falling on the ice. My question is this: why is my treadmill pace so much slower than my outside pace? Maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes per mile slower. Does that indicate any strength of form things I should work on? No, honestly, it depends on the treadmill. Like, I remember when I was working at Lifetime Run a long time ago, I would get my butt out of bed at 3 a.m. to get my run done before the group run because I didn't want to talk to anybody on the treadmill. But for some reason, they're magic treadmills. I was like 2 minutes a mile faster, and it felt so good. And I knew that wasn't real. I don't know where it came from. It's probably the way they calibrated them. And that's smart on their part, but it made me feel so good. I wanted to go there and get that run done because, when you have 3 little kids, that might've been the only time a week I was alone or really felt good about things. So that's, as sad as that sounds, it was just indicative of where I was then. So I tell you that to use that same logic here. You're not actually that much slower. It can be annoying. It can feel like you're using your calves more. It can feel like you're doing more damage to your heels. It can feel very different because the treadmill itself is different. So the things I want you to remember here is that easy effort pace is a vanity metric. You are not losing fitness by getting on the treadmill. The reason it's slower is because it's not exactly the same as running outdoors. It is moving forward, right? You're on this pad that's moving, and it feels like you're propelling yourself forward, but you're not quite the same way that you would on the road. So think of it as sort of that neurological confusion. It's an equally good workout. You're getting everything you need. It is not less than in any way, but it's all the more reason to remember that the easy effort pace is a vanity metric and really don't need to worry about it. If it bothers you a whole lot, if it gets in the way, then let's find something else to do other than being on the treadmill. Like maybe we can get on the Stairmaster. Maybe we can ride the Peloton. I don't know. Maybe we can just say spring and hang on tightly, let go lightly, just a little bit longer. Remember, that has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with literal biomechanical response and neurological response to something that is incredibly unnatural, which is the treadmill itself. But thank God for it, because it's a whole lot better than being outside, slipping around in 30 degrees on sleet, getting sick and not feeling good. I'd rather be inside safe and not feeling good than outside not safe and not feeling good. But that's just me. Nothing feels good in the springtime. So when it comes to strength or forward things you should work on, the thing I do like about being on the treadmill is that I am a lot more conscious of when I'm hunching over, because those rails that come on the side make me really nervous that I'm going to hit them with my elbow and that's going to hurt. I've only done that once. I did like 20 years ago, but once you've hit something in that funny bone, like, you don't forget it. So I tend to be a little more conscious of my form when I'm on there, making sure that my lats are on, that my belly button's tucked, that my hips are like, I'm sort of, that cage is locked the whole time I am on the treadmill, precisely because I'm so nervous about hitting with my elbow, and I'm a lot more conscientious than I am outside. So take it as an opportunity. Take it as an opportunity to watch We Crashed. Oh my God, We Crashed. If you haven't seen it on Apple TV, it's so good. Take it as an opportunity to watch Ted Lasso. Take it as an opportunity to watch any of the good things that are on TV right now that my husband and I have been enjoying together, and there's a lot. If there's something you've been enjoying, please feel free to share it here in the comments for others to enjoy too. But there's a lot that's good. But rather than, I'd say let's find a way to sort of get through it without reading anything into it. You're not slower because you need to really work on things. But if you do favor one side over the other, if you find yourself swinging a lot, there is a lot that you can glean from being on the treadmill that you might otherwise not notice when you're outside and really having fun enjoying the ride. So if there's an opportunity to be had, great. After a couple runs, if that opportunity hasn't presented itself, distract yourself. Yay, TV. Okay, that's all we got for the week. But you are coached. You are loved. Hopefully you have lots of emails, all from me, reminding you how much you're winning at life. Have a great week, y'all. And come see me in office hours. I'm lonely.